Hey, it's Ian here from Forever Lucid. He's the dream master in himself. He's teach people how to lucid dream every day. He's been doing it since the age of around 19, and he's been lucid dreaming since the age around like 10 years old. But now he has a new mission. His mission is to change the world and become the first trillionaire. To do this, he needs y'all help and he needs the world help. We're going to be the first ones to launch out a cube satellite up there to the atmosphere. We're going to change the world forever. When was the last time you tried something new?
Right now, doing this podcast.
How you feel about it?
I don't know how to feel about it. This is really for the audience to see if they actually enjoy it. But like, honestly, I couldn't care either way as long as the information gets out there to where it's like consumable and is entertaining and educational at some level. That would be nice.
And can you give some examples of what type of information you're trying to provide to the world?
I think on a fundamental level, I'd like to teach people how to lucid dream consistently. So instead of passively sleeping every night, I want to teach everyone how to actively sleep. Use that time effectively, work out through different scenarios, get rid of nightmares forever, things like that. That's like a priority for me. And then on the other standpoint, it's all about electric propulsion, replacing rocket engines with electric rockets. And that is kind of like the journey I want to document over the vlogs we start doing once we secure the funding from our space investor. That's kind of the priority because we can do it like Nikola Tesla did, right? Where every invention he created, he did it in his lucid dreams first. Same thing with Albert Einstein with his equations. He did visualizations to plan out how he wanted to write the equations. So we can do the same thing with our space goals while still teaching people how to lucid dream. And that's why I kind of combined the two.
And this is a very important question. Why is lucid dreaming so important to you?
I think it's just a staple that should be in everybody's lives because a third of our lives, 1/3, 6 to 10 hours per day spent passively sleeping. And most people don't realize that they have the power to control their dreams. And if they did, their lives would never be the same because they'd use that time effectively. They'd actually start building a more ideal reality for themselves. And I think that's the missing piece in life today.
Why do you think there is not a lot of research in the field of lucid dreaming?
There's actually a lot of research in the field of lucid dreaming. Ever since the 1970s, they've been studying it with people like Dr. Stephen LaBerge. And they've also done sleep trials and sleep studies to see how to influence dreams and how to actually, visualize those dreams. So there has been a ton of research, but other than like big feature films like Inception, just there's not a lot of knowledge about how to actually lucid dream.
And do you see yourself as that piece in adding it all together?
I mean, yeah, that's why I dedicated my life to, this mission. I've spent the past 4+ years now as a full-time job of teaching people how to lucid dream. So yeah, I really believe in it wholeheartedly.
How did you feel about helping your first client lucid dream for the first time?
That was actually a really fun case. Like landing the first client and then teaching him how to lucid dream was very interesting because like I had always helped friends lucid dream just for fun, where I give some advice and then they can have a lucid dream. But like where someone has a serious goal they want to achieve, whether that's getting rid of nightmares, getting rid of addictions, getting over traumas, like having a real serious goal that I can actually impact on their lives, that's very rewarding. My first ever student though, he was retired and he was looking to have more entertainment in his life. So it was very relaxed and an easy transition into treating this more like a career and less like a hobby.
And what's the noticeable differences that you found out since doing this full time?
Hiring and managing employees and making employees, do their jobs effectively without always being on their case and making sure it's a fun atmosphere. I think that's the biggest piece of business advice I could offer to anybody. Is if you can create an atmosphere where it's fun and the work is engaging and your employees actually learn from their mistakes, you'll improve and get better. And then have some skin in the game for the employees, some type of profit share or commission to where they're more motivated to actually do better quality work.
Excellent advice. What would be the most sensible advice that you ever heard on this journey?
This is more business advice than anything. It's like, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. And then once you figure out what you love, pre-sell it before you start building out courses or anything like that to see if there's a market for it, right? Because you can pre-sell something and see if people are willing to pay for that service, if there's a big enough pain point, if they have the financial capability to do so.
And to help new lucid dreamers, what would you say would be the hardest lesson that you had to?
Daily consistent effort is probably the most important thing for anybody, no matter what job you're doing, no matter if you're trying to lucid dream, if you're trying to edit and film videos. At least 10 to 30 minutes per day is the minimum I'd say for consistency, but you have to do it every day because it sets in your subconscious mind that this is a part of your habit. This is a part of your being now. It's just like waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth. If you form it into a habit, you do it every day, you don't even think about it, and it becomes effortless. This is how people get in shape and then stay in shape. They form it as a habit where they go to the gym every day, or 3-5 times a week, where it's every day they show up, and then it doesn't feel like they have to do it. It feels like it's a part of them. So it's the same with lucid dreaming. Every time you go to bed, 10 minutes before bed, plan out what lucid dream you're gonna have. Remember the dreams you've had previously. Everyone dreams 3 to 5 times per night. So start remembering those dreams, start finding the patterns, and then you'll become a consistent lucid dreamer.
Excellent. What would you say that you love and hate most about what you're doing right now?
Right now, I love the aspect that we're impacting hundreds of thousands of people. I think we just recently passed 300,000 views on YouTube. So clearly, we're impacting people. Obviously, those are baby numbers for real YouTubers. But back in the day, if you could just reach 100 people before the internet existed, if you could be in a room with 100 people, that's a lot of people. So multiply that by 1,000 or 3,000. That's pretty insane to me. You couldn't fill up an entire stadium with 300,000 people. I think stadiums max out at 30,000 people. So I think that's just a cool aspect. And monetarily, obviously, that's difficult. You have to have high ticket systems in place to cover your costs, or have enough viewership to where you can cover AdSense, sponsorships, monetization, things of that nature. I think that's the biggest hurdle why most businesses fail, is they don't find a way to monetize themselves fast enough, and then they run out of funds. So it's usually capital that's the biggest problem for businesses. And you see this with even very large businesses, like multi-billion-dollar businesses. If they grow too fast and hire too many employees, their costs outweigh their revenue, and then they have to do massive layoffs, like we've seen with recent companies having to do that. Basically, you find people who do their job effectively, don't grow too fast, and make sure you can get profitable very fast. I think those are the biggest pieces of business advice I can give.
And you recommend, most business do have a successful plan, but they usually start messing up when they get on the business side and literally are paying more expenses than they are having more income.
Well, yeah, it's a simple equation. If your revenue exceeds your expenses, you're profitable. If it doesn't, you're negative. And the whole point of a business is to be profitable. So if you have really good numbers and you know exactly how much you're sending out each week and how much you're getting in each week, you'll be clear on your goals, your mission. Even if it's as simple as, hey, you wash people's cars, right? You have to buy the equipment, a bucket, a sponge, the cleaning solution, and then as long as you can make your money back, let's say on the first car, let's say all the equipment costs $50 and you charge $100 for your first one, then you're profitable from day one. And that's what you should strive for every business. Some businesses, it's harder, like with hardware, where you have to develop prototypes. You need actual, investment ahead of time so you can develop out the prototype to start selling it. But with things like digital products or courses, anything of that nature, you can pre-sell it, see if there's a market, and then you can build it out very cheaply for, I'd say, only a couple $100 a month for digital assets.
Great advice. If you wasn't teaching lucid dreaming, what would you see yourself teaching today?
If I wasn't teaching lucid dreaming, I'd probably be helping people with their manifestation goals in some form or fashion, where maximizing their waking time to achieve all the goals they want, right? We're on this planet for a limited period of time. Even if we start going out into space, we still only have, 80 to 100 years, unless we figure out youthful mortality, dimensional phasing, things of that nature. And if you view life in that finite amount of time, how do you maximize every day to you can live it to the fullest? I have a friend who's a Jehovah's Witness, and he said the way they think about life is they don't celebrate holidays because they view every day as a holiday. Every day is the most important day. And if you can start treating life like that, where every day you wake up and it's the most important day ever, you're going to accomplish a lot more. You're not going to waste your time watching entertainment or doing drugs and alcohol. You're going to have your mind focused on a goal and achieve it.
How old would you say that you are in your mind mentally?
Mentally, I'm between 300 and 400 years old just from all the lucid dreaming because time moves differently in dreams, right? So minutes in reality equates to hours in the dream world. And then if you do dreams within dreams or go even further, you can be in there weeks, months, or even years. So I've done this so many times, lived so many different lives. That's why I'm very comfortable in this existence I am now, because I've had all that different experiences and pretty much lived every type of life I could. That's why I kind of dedicate my life to service and helping others now. You kind of find this when it's a very common situation when people make a certain amount of income to where they can cover all their expenses and they're comfortable. Usually their time then goes to, they want to travel or entertainment. And then after that, they realize, how do I give back? What do I do for other people that benefits them?
Next question. What would you say that's a mandatory read for anybody?
A mandatory read. Think and Grow Rich is a pretty good staple book to help you get started on your journey. There's also Abraham Hicks has a ton of great books. You should check those out. Any one of those. Think and It Is Given. It's probably the best one.
Also, you are an author yourself?
Yeah, I made a children's book, so I guess I'm a children's book author. And then I also made a dream journal, which is just like a guided journal to help you log and document your dream experiences so you can start finding the patterns. But that's pretty much it on the...
Link in the bio down below.
Yeah, thanks. Check it out. It's on Amazon. Prime shipping if you have Prime.
And would you say, what's the difference between living and existing? And how would you help somebody feeling inside of the middle between those?
I mean, those are very close things, living and existing. I would say like surviving and thriving. So surviving is you're just living paycheck to paycheck, trying to save up as much as you can from nothing. Thriving is you're making more money than you could ever spend. And the only difference between those two scenarios is your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. It's just a mindset of finding better quality work that you can do that generates more money. And if you stop using drugs and alcohol that limit your brain and your mind, and you can actually remember your previous days, you can learn from those mistakes and keep growing and growing. But if you get caught in these, rough routines, even if it's just weed, where you smoke occasionally or, once every night, that drastically impacts your memory capabilities.